Hi guys, welcome to Dead in the Don. Today we're going to be previewing Tottenham versus Chelsea at White Hart Lane this Sunday, 4:30 kickoff in the Premier League. So the Don has got a couple of guests lined up a little bit later in the show, but we're going to start off with regular Chelsea pundit, Mr. Chris Mcmahon. So hi Chris, welcome back to the show, mate. It's been a little while since we last spoke. It was before the international break, so getting into it, like, you've got Tottenham this week, but if we just go backwards a little bit and reflect on your last two games since we last spoke. I know you did predict a 1-1 draw in the Liverpool game, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have predicted it to be in quite those circumstances. So if you want to just have a little reflection on your last two league games, how you think they went, if you're happy with the points total, and anything that you were slightly concerned about.
Yeah, hello again, mate. It's been a while, hasn't it? I think it was before the Liverpool game I spoke to you, but yeah, I'd just like to recap on the two games quickly. I know Liverpool was a couple of weeks ago, but it was a very good 1-1 draw despite going down to 10 men, and we held on quite comfortably in my opinion. So yeah, a good point. That's why I predicted a draw. Fortunately, I didn't have time to speak to you regarding the Aston Villa game, and I would have projected a 3-0 win, I must say. I was a bit concerned the way we played first half. We were very, very poor. Villa were coming at us, but obviously as the game wore on, I know we got an early second goal in the second half. They sort of ran out of gas, but you know, they gave us a fright. They gave us a fright, and just a little bit concerning, especially how we played yesterday against Zenit in the first half. We're looking a bit sloppy, so we can't really afford to do that this week. But overall, you know, 4 points against two good teams. It's obviously continuing to be a good start to the season for Chelsea, and our first win in the Champions League. So yeah, all good.
So looking forward to Tottenham this weekend. How do you see that game going? I know they had that good start, but then a very poor weekend just gone. Obviously yourselves, you've been quite solid all the way through. Do you think that's going to be an easy game for you? Do you think you've got their number, or do you think they're going to come back from that disappointing result at the weekend?
Listen, mate, every time we play Spurs, it's you know, you could call it the North London derby, Arsenal-Spurs rivalry, but Spurs have to hate Arsenal because it's a North London derby. If they got to choose it and Arsenal won in London, they're our rivals. We're their rivals. We don't like each other, and it's always feisty when we play each other. And granted, throughout the years, we've absolutely battered them. The weekend, God, they were poor against Palace. I watched the game. I thought Palace were very, very good. But they looked really, really weak without Song. I think obviously winning the first 3 games of the season, I was quite surprised, especially beating Man City early. But I don't know. I saw these sort of game form goes out the window because they're both going to be up front. There's always some naughty challenges. I wouldn't be surprised to see a red card in this game. But if we start better than what we've been doing, I can see a Chelsea win.
So all that's left to get from you now, Chris, is your score prediction for the weekend, mate. What do you think the score is going to be in this game?
See, this is the sort of game that could go anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually lost a 1-0 to this, because everything just goes out the window. It's a pure hated London derby. Their fans are going to be well up for it, but they've got to play well to beat us. And you know, I know they won the first 3 games, but I didn't think they looked convincing at all. And when they played Palace on Saturday, they looked awful. So again, if Chelsea start well, and I'm sure we will this time, with the emergence, I think, of Ben Chilwell starting, and a bit more pace on that left-hand side, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. I'm going to go for a Lukaku and Timo Werner coming on from the bench to score a goal. So there will be Spurs 0, Chelsea 2, Lukaku and Timo Werner get the job done.
Thanks for that, Chris. We're going to head over to the Don now and see who he's been talking to and what they've had to say about the game as well.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Keep doing what you're doing. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you in the week next week. Remember, guys, if you're watching this, please like, comment and subscribe to Daddy and the Don.
Yes, Phil, hello. Bonus part of the video, I've got two guests, one from each team. My first guest is a regular pundit on the show. He is a Tottenham fan. It is Luke. Hello, Luke. So firstly, your thoughts on last week's performance and defeat to Crystal Palace. I know that you didn't have your first team out, a lot of injuries and absences, and obviously the red card proper changed the game. With that said, are you still very disappointed on how the game went and how you lot played? Because you were quite passive before the red card. So what's your thoughts on the game in general?
Yeah, I thought the Palace game was disappointing. Obviously, we suffered quite a few injuries and losses because of the international break, which I'm not a big fan of, especially so early on in the season. But the way that we did set up was quite negative. I did want to see a little bit more going forward. The front three just weren't linking up. We were obviously missing some pace. I would have liked to have seen more positive changes, some positive substitutions in Ndombele or Brian Hill coming on, who was going to come on before the red card. I don't think that was a massive turning point in the game. Obviously, that did set us back, but Palace were all over us, and it wasn't a great performance.
So only 3 goals in 4 games. Again, a very passive style of football so far. Are you worried about this? And are you one of them fans that want to play good football regardless of the result, or are you one of them guys is, I'll take 25 1-0 wins, doesn't bother me? And if so, do you see this being the style that he will play throughout the year, or do you think the more confident he'll get within the role, the better football you lot will play?
I think you have to take things as a whole. You need to look at style of play. You need to look at results. Obviously, I'm a fan of attractive football, which is something that for quite a while Spurs have brought. That's not always been the case of late. But at the same time, I would rather a 1-0 win scraped by that would otherwise have been a draw. I think those are the results where they're the difference makers. That's how leagues are won. That's how Leicester won the league, was with 1-0 wins as opposed to that draw. Just breaking the deadlock is massive. But saying that, we have been very, very lucky with our results. Our best performance of the season so far, to me, was against Man City on the first day of the season. And everything else has been disappointing. We were lucky against Wolves. We were lucky against Watford. We didn't really show much in those games. So, I think you just need to, look at it as a whole. But it's a win's a win at the same time.
So now on to Chelsea. Obviously, we know how good they are. They've had a good start to the season. So, this is going to be a difficult game regardless. But to be honest, I think they weren't as good against Aston Villa, even though they won 3-0. So will you look at that and go, if we have our team back, we play good football, we can take this, especially because we're at home?
I think although it wasn't the best performance from Chelsea against Villa, from what I have seen from them this season, they do look like title challengers. And I think it, they're strong in for the league this season. Also saying that, Chelsea have a knack of turning up against us. We have managed to turn them over a few times in the last couple of years. But I think Tuchel's a fantastic manager. I think Lukaku is the missing link. They found something in him. And also we're going to be missing some defenders. So it's going to be an inexperienced backline for us, and I think he might have a field day with it.
Okay, so I want to ask you about one of your players. How do you feel Dele Alli has started the season so far? And in general, how do you rate Dele Alli as a player?
When it comes to Dele Alli, I've been critical of him in the past, mainly due to a perceived lack of effort. Also, when things weren't going well, still trying his fancy flicks, which only highlights things even more when things aren't going well. It only exaggerates the fact that he's not playing well, and I think at times he just needs to do the basics correctly. In terms of this season, I've not been overly disappointed with him, and I think I'm liking the effort he's putting in. Put in some strong challenges against Palace, and made a crucial block as well. So I do think he does deserve his place in the starting 11. We're starting to see more of a team effort from him, but I think he needs to also bring back some of that flair, which can bamboozle defenders at times.
Okay, so with the game, how do you approach it? How do you see it going? And where are Chelsea's biggest threats? And how are you going to get the win from this game?
I think it's always a very exciting game, Spurs-Chelsea. Always very physical. It's a London derby. London derbies are very seldom boring. In terms of Chelsea, like I say, I think Lukaku is just phenomenal. I think with everything that's happened, we're going to likely have an inexperienced back line, and one that hasn't really played together. So it's going to be interesting to see if Nuno goes with three at the back. I'm not sure who that would be, whether we have enough centre-halves to cover that. And also I don't want Ben Davies anywhere near that pitch. So I think from Chelsea's point of view, Lukaku obviously is the man to watch. I do think that Werner can cause some problems. Havertz, they're a fantastic team, So, but I think Lukaku is the one that makes the difference. From our point of view, it's very hard to say. A standout performer. I liked what I saw from Lucas Moura today. Obviously, he's got fantastic dribbling. Just seemingly lacks a little bit of pace. Could do with an extra yard. I think for a standout, it would be him. I would like to see Bryan Hill get involved. He's young, fearless. Just let him loose. Especially if we have no one back in that time. I think we are lacking a bit of pace. From what I've seen of Hill, he does have a bit of pace and he's got that fearlessness. So I think it's going to be on the wings.
Okay, my second guest here on this bonus part of this video, making his debut for the channel. He is a Chelsea fan. Please welcome Dan. Hello, Dan. Thanks for coming on. So before we talk about the upcoming game, how do you feel the season has gone so far? In particular, last game against Villa, yes, you won, but was you concerned about the overall performance?
Yeah, hi Graham, thanks for having me. I've been quite happy with our performances so far, especially defensively. I feel like we could have taken more chances. And I feel against the game today against Villa, we maybe could have and should have lost. It was down to Mendy just making very good saving us. So, yeah.
Romelu Lukaku started life back at Chelsea fantastically. Tottenham might be fielding a weaker defence. Is this a game where you expect him to shine and get a few goals? Is he the one that holds the key?
I don't think playing against a very deep line is going to be the best for Lukaku, because I feel like he does his best when he's running in behind and receiving the ball one-on-one with the keeper. He's so clinical doing that. So if they play a high line, I reckon he'll have a wonderful day. But if not, I reckon he'll struggle.
So where is Tottenham's biggest threat? What player or players worry you the most? And And how do you think they're going to play? If they do play defensive, will that play to your strengths?
I think Tottenham's main threats, I don't think it was Harry Kane so far this season. He's not really done much. I think Lucas Moura and Son have done has done most of the damage for them. And Son hasn't played today, so he won't be as up to like full match fitness. And yeah, I don't know if that's like their main source of goals and stuff. They're not going to be creating as much, and I reckon it'll be like a walk in the park.
So, a lot of changes for the Villa game compared to the Liverpool game. Again, we are recording this before the Champions League, so focusing on the Chelsea-Tottenham game, what lineup do you expect to see? Do you think it'll be more similar to the Liverpool team, or do you reckon he'll play a few players that played well against Aston Villa?
I think the team that played against Liverpool, we started so well. Liverpool was shell-shocked. They didn't know what to do with themselves. And what we had against them with Reece James, his start to the season has been incredible, and that red card really didn't help him. And yeah, so I think he will shuffle it because there were players today that looked not very good. Like Sal was very, very bad, in my opinion. Came off at half-time. And Alonso, I don't know why he's just not put his faith in Chilwell, but I think Chilwell needs to go.
Okay, so how do you see this game going? Do you expect Chelsea to come out on top? Do you think you'll take the game to Tottenham? Is this a 3-pointer, or are you happy to take another draw away from home against a tough team?
Oh, I'd like to say it's an easy 3 points, but Tottenham's never an easy 3 points. Always a battle. But they are coming off a 3-0 loss, and we're going into the game with a 3-0 win. So they might not have Son, I'm not sure, because he didn't play. And I don't know, I think if they play a deep line and man-mark Lukaku, it won't be the best of days for him. But maybe other players like Havertz, Mount will be able to create and we can break through. But if they do attack us, our defence is one of the best in the world. So I reckon we can deal with it and counter. And if they do play like that, it'll be easy for us. But if not, it might be tough.
Okay, cheers, guys. But I'm going to ask you both now your score prediction for this game. Starting with Luke, finishing with Dan.
It's always a tough one to call. I think it's going to be quite tentative to start. Whether someone can break the deadlock early, then we might see a high-scoring game. It could be anything from a 0-0 to a 3-0. I think that's unlikely with the injuries that we have. I don't like to bet against us, but I think with everything that's happened and what we saw from the Palace game, I think it's going to be 1-0 Chelsea.
Thanks for having me on this. I'm going to say a 2-0 win. I reckon Lukaku and Havertz.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. I'd like to say thank you to Phil and Chris earlier on, and my guests, Luke and Dan. Guys, this has been a preview for Spurs Chelsea. We'll see you soon. Thank you.